that also brings up a point about J Dub. I was in one of my chats and I was talking about how J Dub. My original comment was that it sucks that J Dub is a playoff dropper. And somebody was basically like, I think it's a bit unfair or it's crazy to say that about a player in like year two, year three. And I don't disagree with that. I do
I
think
was
it's
gonna
early. However, his role on this team is Robin. So like it's not our fault that your role on this team is Robin, and you've shown throughout the regular season that you can be the Robin to Shay's Batman. And
oh
in the
no.
playoffs, there's been a dip. Now, I'm not sitting here saying his career should be defined by this. I'm just saying that's the role that he's in. Now, the counter to that was it's unfair for him to be in that role, which again, I don't necessarily disagree with, but this is where we are. So, what are your thoughts on maybe the expectations for him being a year three, being a year three player and kind of him being expected to be the Robin because that's the role he's played all year.
No, that's not unfair because we see time and time again rookies get drafted expecting to be the face of the franchise. So I do feel like maybe the expectations can be too high for a player in a playoff performance. Like it's fair to say you're Shay's second, you're the Robin. Okay. Maybe it is a little unfair to say, though, we're expecting you to give us 15 a night, and this is your second year and second, trip deep into the playoffs.
Yeah.
That part can be unfair, but his role and expecting him in that role is not.
I'm concerned.
You're unconcerned
I am concerned.
about
The Thunder curse.
which is
Are we seeing another James Harden?
I wouldn't say that.
Hmm.
I don't know.
Playoff. All
Well,
it took was playoffs in the finals for them to be like, they need to get rid of him.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like you said, after that Nugget series, you're like, yeah, something's going to have to happen after this. You can see it being J-Dub. And then he goes off and flourishes. But then do we a long career of him flourishing and being a great player, but then being a playoff dropper? Super anecdotal, definitely a one-off, but I don't know. My mind went there. My mind goes to if they do lose this, did he resign? Is he the only? Is he the last one that needs?
he might be up for extension after this season. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah.
I think
So this is. Oh Lord, this could be it. If it doesn't go well, do we see history repeat itself where they lose that one piece that is that piece that they maybe need to get over the hump? OKC is always a contender, but then they're just not. They just don't have that punch to get over the hump. Does he go on and become a successful number one somewhere else, but then also just doesn't show up in the playoffs? I think it's too early to tell because it is only his second real playoffs, but it happened in Dallas last year before the Western Conference Finals. So, interesting. Interesting.
that
I don't know.
very interesting. That is a really good point to think about. I think I would want to argue that I I want to say that because J Dub has been starting, that these expectations of producing as a starter should not be like he should be prepared. Not that James, as a six man, wasn't in a role where his production was expected to be at a certain level. I guess maybe I just have faith that this is just early struggles for J Dub, and that the more time he has in the league, that he'll be more accustomed to this role, and that he'll not adjust, but like he'll just learn how to be more efficient. Maybe he'll learn how to pick his spots better in playoff games. Maybe he'll just learn how to be more consistent or how to have a more holistic impact to where if he isn't scoring, efficiently, that he's not a liability, to the team. But that is an interesting point. I would hope that the Thunder curse is not a thing and does not take place, in this scenario. But that is an interesting antidote to bring up. And I don't know. I think the conference finals will tell us if they make it to the finals. The finals will tell us. And I mean, granted, once they get to the finals, now that's their first time being there, and that comes with a whole different level of inexperience, to a degree. I mean, I think this whole era for them is still kind of defined by inexperience, and because they're young, like I say inexperienced because last year they were inexperienced. You said what?
Did you quote Ray Vaughn? This whole era. This whole era.
No, that's not. I'm not getting into that rap beef, man. That ain't what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to talk ball.
Ab Soul dropped today. You all better shoe. Daylight also dropped. Continue.
I like Joey.
Joey need help. That's what Joey need. Joey
Yeah,
needs
he does. He was
somebody need to
insane
come
for
get his
that.
back. It's
He
just
was insane for that, but
That the last two. Whoa.
but no, yeah, no, but I think this Thunder era has been defined by inexperience because they're young and because they kind of have the grace to go through these pitfalls because they're young and ideally they can keep this core together. So that's why this conference final, whatever this playoff run is, and whatever they do next year, it's like they're still building to being these like war tested, contenders. They're not This is the first year where they're really war tested, right? Like game 7 with Jokic. I could see this series going 7. But it'll be interesting